gotta put her in the water. Welcome to WhatGear Reviews, tech reviews coming to you from rainy old England. And today I'm looking at the Sonos Roam, and this definitely was not built in a day, but it was built for your day, whether you be working from home or on the roam, or if you're chilling by the pool sipping on a Long Island iced tea. And in this video, I'm not going to bore you guys to death with the specs. Instead, I'm going to tell you about the design, the usability, what I think of the sound quality, and then at the end, the most awesome features in my opinion. But there's just one question: are you subscribed?
Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it!
And if you just did that, you're now one of the finest subscribers known to man. And let me just give you a little brief history of Sonos. Way back in early 2000s, they changed the game when it came to multi-room speakers. And now the question is, can they do the same thing again when it comes to ultra portable speakers? With this, the brand new Sonos Roam portable Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, virtual assistant multi-room speaker. Well, I'm going to let you guys be the judge of that. So make sure you leave a comment at the end of this video about what you think of this particular speaker. So the Roam is small in stature, smaller than the UE Boom equivalent and the JBL Flip equivalent. And this thing weighs in at 430 grams, but do not be deceived by its size. The Sonos Roam packs some serious power, and I consider it to be like the Floyd Mayweather in the ultra portable speaker category. It's durable, it's shock resistant, it's technically sound in all aspects of its game, but it has some unique skills that the others just don't have. And we're going to get into those skills in the awesome features part of the video, so stick around for that. So the Sonos Roam has a unique shape. It's best described as a rounded, triangular shaped cylinder, which is quite unique and separates itself from its opposition. And I believe this shape is a great design choice because it can stand tall and fire sound straight at you, or it can be placed horizontally with the driver firing upwards at an upwards angle. So if it's lower down, the sound will still be awesome. And check this out, this speaker supports Sonos TruePlay. And to describe Sonos TruePlay to you guys that are not familiar with it, essentially what it does is it uses its onboard beam-forming mics to scan the environment and adjust the EQ based on its location and your surroundings. So it will adapt on the fly whether you're indoors or outdoors, if you're in a big space or a small space or even a cardboard box. Anyway, back to the design. On the back we have its USB-C charging port, and this supports up to 15 watts charging, and the cable that comes with it is actually pretty cool because it's got a 90-degree angle, which means it doesn't stick out too far at the back of the speaker when charging. And there's another really awesome feature which I'm going to speak about later on when it comes to charging. But check this out, they do give you the awesome cable, but they do not give you a charging brick, so you will need to use one that you already own. Anything above 7.5 watts will be perfect. Of course, the closer you get to that 15 watts, the faster it's going to charge. And if you're wondering about the charging time on this speaker, it can go from 0 to 50 in just 1 hour, and a full charge will take around 2.5 hours via the USB-C cable it comes with and a 15-watt charger. And via Qi wireless charging, of course, it's going to be a little bit slower. And just above that charging port is a very important multi-function button here. A single push will power up the Sonos Roam, a 2-second push will enter Bluetooth pairing mode, and a long push will power down completely, or a quick tap will power down into standby if it's already on. Now let's go back to the front of the speaker. The Roam has 2 Class H amps and a racetrack mid-woofer and tweeter. And all of these are protected by a shock-resistant cage and metal mesh grille. And there are LED lights behind this grille as well. As you can see here, this one will indicate what mode you're in, if you're on Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. Right now I'm on Wi-Fi. There's another LED light down the bottom here, which will show when you're running low on power or when it's charging. And then there's a third LED light on the top here. This one indicates when the onboard mic is active. The last thing a lot of people want is a microphone in their house that they can't mute, so it's just listening to you 24/7. So that's a feature that I really appreciate. I'm sure you guys will as well. So the buttons on the top of the Sonos Roam are slightly recessed, which should help prevent accidental button pushes when you're roaming around. And the buttons are protected by a hard-wearing rubber cap. You've got your usual volume controls and a multifunctional play pause, skip track button, and this button also has a really awesome feature which we'll get to later on in the video. And at the base of the speaker is another rubber surface, and right below this surface is a conductive charging plate. So yes, the Roam does support Qi wireless charging, and you can pretty much use any 10-watt charging mat, although the official Sonos wireless charger is the right shape and has magnets built into it, so if you want to wirelessly charge this speaker whilst horizontal, you can do that as well. And I'll link that below the video if you want to check out the price. So the entire Sonos Roam design feels really premium. That soft touch finish is very nice, and the shape makes it one of the most grippable speakers that I've ever tested. And there are two colors, and of course this one is the black one. They call this shadow black, and there's a white color which they call lunar white. And my advice to you if you're choosing between the colors is, if you're going to use it mainly around your house, I'd probably say the white one looks a little bit nicer, a little bit cleaner, but it will get dirtier much quicker if you're going to be on the go. So if you're going to be buying this speaker to take it out and about more than around the house, then I would say go for the black one. It's not going to show damage quite as much as the white one. So here's a couple of things you must know about the Sonos Roam. Its playback time is around 10 hours. Of course, this will vary on volume and whether you're using Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, but 10 hours is right in the middle. You can actually get a bit more out of this if you're listening at lower volumes and stuff like that. So battery life is pretty stellar here. The Roam also supports Wi-Fi at 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz, and it has Bluetooth 5.0. And this is something special. It can actually use both of those at the same time and switch back and forwards between them. More on that later. Over Wi-Fi, it can utilize Amazon Alexa, like so. It's also compatible with Google's Assistant and AirPlay 2, which means it does support Siri as well. But just like the Highlander, there can be only one.
There can be only one.
So whatever ecosystem you're already tied into, whether it's Alexa or Google or Siri, that's what you want to set this up as using the app. And it's really great because if you don't have one of those devices in a particular room, you can of course just carry this into that room, place it there, and now you've got another point where you can manage your smart home features, which is brilliant. So the Sonos app adds a couple of extra feathers to the Sonos cap, as it opens the door to a lot of options when it comes to listening experiences. I personally use Deezer most of the time when it comes to listening to music, but I also sometimes use YouTube music as well. But check this out. Through the Sonos app, you can pretty much connect any streaming service over Wi-Fi directly to the Roam. But there's something I discovered here which I really like as well, and that's the Sonos Radio feature. So this is unlike your typical streaming services. This is like an on-demand radio station. I'm a fan of the old school 90s hip hop, so I'm a big fan of Wu-Tang, and I discovered a bunch of new tracks from Ghostface Killah whilst listening to this radio station. And it's really great. You can just turn this on and leave it playing in the background. There is a free version. If you want the highest quality, then you'll need to subscribe to the Sonos Radio to get that. But it's really cool, and I suggest you guys check it out because you can discover music that you've never heard before and new stuff that you didn't even know existed. So now let's talk about sound quality, and listen here real quick. Remember when I said the Roam wasn't built in a day? Well, I really meant that, because Sonos spends so much time fine-tuning their sound. It's crazy. They got this sound room in Santa Barbara, which is basically a room full of acoustic panels. I heard when you walk in there, you can even hear your heart beating. It's that quiet. And they collab with numerous sound engineering experts, Grammy award-winning sound engineering experts, and they critique Sonos' sound, and they help to improve and tweak the sound signature so it's just right. But of course, sound is subjective and everybody kind of perceives it slightly differently. So it's really great that within the Sonos app, you can adjust the bass and the treble if you want to. But just keep in mind, this has been tuned by real experts, so they should really know what sounds good. So here is what I think. When I first listened to the Sonos Roam, I was listening to bass heavy hip hop tracks, and the clarity is what really seemed to stand out. You've got this kind of really clear audio signature in the mids and the highs. It gives you that really crystal clear clarity sort of feeling. The little details in the vocals and the snares are very present. The mids are perfect in my opinion, and the sound doesn't seem to be muddy in any way. Now, I'm a fan of quite bass heavy music, and the low frequencies are very good. You kind of get this really nice, well-rounded, full sound. The only area I could suggest this could be improved is with a little more bass for those bass heavy tracks, but some people will probably hate that, but that's just something I like. I did play around with adjusting the EQ just a bit, and I turned the bass up, and actually it's quite satisfying to me once I've done that. Now keep in mind, this is a mono speaker, meaning there's only one channel. If you had two channels, then we could talk about soundstage and separation between the left and right channels. Can't really do that here. One thing I will say is the way it projects sound is very good. It feels like the sound travels a good amount of distance. There's enough power there, and like I said before, it's a really well-rounded sound. And on that note, let's move on to my favorite section, awesome features. So this is a Sonos speaker, and of course it fits into the Sonos ecosystem and in a very unique way. So basically, check this out. There's a feature called Sound Swap where you can walk into any room with another Sonos speaker, hold down the play button here on the Roam, and it will immediately send the audio from the Roam to that Sonos speaker. And this works in reverse as well. So if you want to grab audio from a Sonos speaker and bring it to the Roam and then carry on your day with the Roam in your hand, it will essentially hijack the audio from that speaker and take it with you to another room or another place entirely. And you might be thinking, okay, so I could literally take the music from my house, walk out, go to my friend's house, and then cast it to their Sonos speaker. You can do that sort of. So you'd have to already have their speakers connected to your Sonos app. Then you could do that, but you can't just walk into someone's house and then take over their entire Sonos system, if you were wondering. And here's another really awesome feature. Earlier on I spoke about how it wasn't fair to talk about Soundstage because it's a mono speaker. You can get another one of these and use them as stereo speakers, so left and right speakers. If you were wondering if you could use these as rear speakers for a 5.1 setup, you can't, unfortunately. And I know some of you guys are going to complain about the fact that the old legacy models aren't compatible with some of the newer stuff like this. That's just how it is. I mean, Sonos has been making speakers since early 2000s. So if you've got one of their early speakers, maybe now is the time to upgrade. Especially if you want to get the most out of the Sonos Roam, or you're interested in some of the newer stuff like the Sonos Arc. So I've been using this speaker for just over a week now. And one of the things that I really like to use this for is as an Alexa device. So this speaker, if you really wanted to, you could leave it plugged in 24/7 and just have it as a regular Alexa device, and it will work exactly the same. So you can leave it on a charging mat or plugged into the mains. The only downside to doing this is it will potentially kill the battery in the long run, which is definitely not ideal when it comes to an ultra portable speaker. But Sonos always improved their stuff with software. So I guess if enough people asked for it, maybe they could put in some kind of software that bypasses the battery when it's plugged into the main, like a specific mode that does this, so you could use this as a stationary Alexa speaker. Now check this one out. This is super awesome. So if you have a Bluetooth audio device which isn't compatible with Sonos, it's going to be very difficult for you to cast audio from that device to all of your multi-room speakers. Well, now this actually makes it a lot easier because it has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and it can switch back and forth and use them at the same time. What you can essentially do now is connect this to any Bluetooth audio device and then use its inbuilt Wi-Fi to then cast it to the rest of your Sonos multi-room speakers, essentially turning this into a Sonos port. But it's more affordable to do it this way, and not only that, you get an awesome portable speaker which you can move around your house or take with you whenever you want. So this actually adds to the value of this already awesome portable speaker. And did I mention the Roam is waterproof? And if you combine that with the ruggedness of this speaker and the portability and the battery life and the charging features and the sound quality and the fact that this links to all of your Sonos speakers, this really is one of the best all-round portable speakers you can get. I'm incredibly impressed with it. I love the design, I love the sound. It's fantastic. If you guys want to check out the price, link is below, and these could go on sale at any time, so keep an eye on that. That will give you the most up-to-date prices. So the Roam wasn't built in a day, and neither was this video. It took a lot of time and effort, so I'd appreciate a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video or got any value out of it. If you did and you just subscribed, you're now one of the finest subscribers known to man. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't be late.